We took the today plus today plus today mentality to a next level. We bought into our gold medal mission. We woke up every morning. What can I do to help myself and our team achieve that goal? Despite the doubt that was being thrown at us, despite all the articles saying the Olympics were going to be canceled altogether, that delay, I would never wish a pandemic on the world. That delay was a gift to our team. I can't even begin to describe the feeling when we walked into training camp in 2021, looked around and saw how much better every single person had gotten in 10 months apart. It was incredible. And it was because we had spent so much time and been so diligent about our culture, about our expectations, about what it looked like to be a part of this program, about each other, investing in one another, getting to know one another, and buying into all of those things.
Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. EQ Gangsters, I am super stoked to have the guests that I've got today. We actually did a pre-episode kind of thing, but I had terrible internet connection because of a storm that we were going through. So I have got an Olympic athlete, a medal winner Olympic athlete, super duper Joey Lai, and she is building and has put together a mastermind group for high-level senior executives in the women that are in the business world and in all kinds of areas, right? She has so many great insights around leadership and team building and culture and thriving and so many different things that she has picked up along her tier one athlete journey over the course of her lifetime, that she's been an athlete, for most of her life. And she is super excited to share some of those insights that she's learned and how they transfer to the boardroom, to the business world. Because the bottom line is, I just shared this with a company, some folks in Cabo, Mexico. I met with a group of executives and I shared with them, I'm like, the funny thing is, you guys all think you're in the material handling business, but you're not. You're in the people business that happens to do material handling. So she has played in the business world of athletics for most of her life and in the tier one levels of athletics for a handful of years as well. So Joey, thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. Would love to hear what have been some pivotal defining moments that took you from, let's say, a regular athlete. I know that's because you've always had it in you, but like from a regular athlete to that next level.
No, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I am beyond jazzed to be here. I think the moments that tested me are what really took me to that next level. For example, getting cut the first time I went to try out for Team Canada, getting so close and getting cut, seeing my dream of wearing the maple leaf on my chest right there, and it's slipping through my fingers. Moments like that force me outside of my comfort zone to decide, what do I really want? Am I really willing to put the work in to get this? And what does that look like? And really digging deep and figuring out every angle that I can come at this goal from in order to give it my best go.
That's excellent. Okay. So what did you do when you got cut? Like how mentally and emotionally, because every business leader, every leader, period, doesn't have to be business, military leader, business leader, family leader, whatever. Husband, wife, like, will go through times when they feel like they've gotten cut from a team, a valley. How did you come back from getting cut?
First, I remember I cried. I was devastated. I allowed myself to feel that devastation and then figured out, okay, I really do want this. I'm willing to put the work in. What are the areas I can improve in? I asked for feedback from the coaches. What do you see as the biggest areas for improvement for me that I can attack and come back next year and show you I deserve to be here? And then figured out the support system that I needed in order to achieve those things. So, I was coaching at my alma mater. I asked my coach to come early to practice to help me, stay late after practice to help me. Can I be written into practice so I can actually work on things that's going to help the team? The strength coach, getting in the weight room, the track and field sprint coach, asking him to meet with me. On top of his job, do you mind coaching someone who's not even on your team on the side and helping me with my start? Just literally every piece that I could possibly get after and dove in.
So powerful. Man, and that alone, I mean, you just nailed one of my nerves, right? Is how many of us are intentional at collecting a tribe slash social support network that challenges us and helps us to become who God intended for us to become. Most people are not intentional with that. You, based on on you seeking feedback, which is another one of my core values that I absolutely love, which is being hungry. After receiving the feedback of, okay, I need to work on A, B, and C, you were intentional at grabbing the SMEs, the subject matter experts, in A to help you develop your A, in B to help you develop your B, and in your C to help you develop. Like that is phenomenal, Joy. And it's like, what if we did that in life? What if
Thanks.
we were intentional in business, right? What if, man,
Yes.
I need to work in conflict. Okay, well, go. Who's great? Who do you know that's great at conflict? Go meet with it. Hey, would you mind coaching me once a month or once every couple of weeks in the area of conflict so I can improve my. That's fire, Joey. I love that. Okay, another story I want you to tell me again because man, it's just so powerful. You were Division 3. Now, this is from our previous conversation. So obviously they're like, dude, she's never even said Division 3 yet. From our previous conversation a few weeks ago, you said you're a Division 3 athlete. Explain, like, and you were like, and what happens for a lot of us is like, well, I'm only meant to play at this level of leadership, right? I'm only supposed to be a junior level manager or maybe a mid-level manager, right? Or in the military terms, I'm just, I don't know, I'm a good company commander. I don't know if I'll ever be a good battalion commander, or I could never be a general officer or brigade command. Like that's for other people, not for me. So I'm just a Division 3 athlete, right? That's my identity. How many of us have, we like own this particular position or role, and that is my lot in life. I've done it. I don't want to talk about me. I've done it. Can you share how you went from Division 3 athlete and like got a glimpse, you got exposed somehow, right? Can you just share that story?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll go back to when I was 8 years old. My teacher had us write a letter to ourselves describing what our dreams were when we were older. I received that letter when I was in grade 12, about to graduate to go to college, and opened it up. And there was 8-year-old Joey's writing and drawings. I was in hockey uniform, NHL logo, because that's what was on TV, right? I was going to play with the men and stating there that I wanted to be a professional athlete. That is my lifelong dream from when I was young. I also recently came across an autobiography that I wrote in high school, and it was titled Future Olympian. It gave me goosebumps to see that and read the words that I had written at that time. So this was a lifelong dream. I go through college, Division 3 athlete, At this point, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Those dreams have almost died within me because I allowed society's voice to be louder than my own. I allowed myself to be affected by the idea that Division I is the only way that successful athletes go. Division III is less than. It is not as competitive. You are not as good if you go there. Then fast forward, get a phone call from my parents. I'm about to graduate, and they say, Team Canada softball is having open tryouts.
Okay,
We
whoa, whoa, whoa,
you
whoa,
up.
whoa. You're about to graduate from high school or college?
Sorry, from college.
Okay, so you're about to graduate from Division III college, and you've been playing softball the whole time.
Yes.
Okay, so you're about to graduate college, Division III college, and then you get a call from your parents.
Yes. And they say, there's an open tryout for Team Canada softball. We've signed you up. And I said, I'm sorry, you did what? You did what? I'm not going. They made me go. They haven't made me do much in my life. They typically empower me to make my decisions and make my commitments and choose where I want to spend my time. They were not backing down. They said, you are going to this tryout. And my goodness, am I glad they forced me to go there, because as we know, it ended up being the start of such an amazing professional career. I went to that tryout, however, nervous, unsure of myself, feeling like I didn't belong, didn't play well, didn't perform to my standard, and yet got an invite to the final camp. And it was there that those dreams started resurfacing, the belief started coming back. Maybe I can do this. I want to do this. I can do this by the end of that week. And then to get handed the plane ticket home just as I'm stepping back into this space was a devastating moment, and one that decided the trajectory of the next 12 years of my life.
Okay, wait. What was the devastating moment?
Getting handed the plane ticket home from tryouts.
Oh, when you
Yeah,
got cut.
they had individual meetings,
Oh.
and you either got an exciting welcome to the squad, or you got handed the envelope with a plane ticket home.
So you did not get the golden ticket.
I did not get the golden ticket, absolutely not. But I got the real gold, which was my belief back.
Okay. Oh man, I am getting so stinking fired up, Joey. This is absolutely bad to the bone. So what looked like, I'm so fired up, Joey. This is fuego, which is fire for those who don't habla. What looked like failure. Oh, I didn't make it. Your takeaway was, holy cow, I got a call back, right? So I got the call back to the week-long deal, right? To the next whatever. Like, and like, oh crap, okay. No, I thinking, not only can I do this, but I want to do this. Like, okay, hey, here's your plane ticket. Awesome. I'll see you. What was it next year? Like what? So then what happened?
So I went back to campus. I was starting a coaching career at my alma mater, and that's where I literally put everything into place that I could to help myself get better and succeed and work on my running form, get stronger, get faster, and hone some of my softball skills as well, to be able to come back 12 months later and say, yes, I now know I deserve to be here. I'm going to show you that I deserve to be here.
And so you came back, was it a year later, 2 years later? How A year later. Okay. And did you have to be invited? Did you say, hey, I'm showing up? Can you just show up? Like, how does that work?
They had another open tryout that year. This time I was saying to my parents, I'll be going to that open tryout. I didn't need them to bring it to me. And showed up and performed better than the year before, got invited to the final camp again, and got offered a spot on the team.
That second time,
Second time.
they're like, welcome to the club. Welcome to the fam. Well, how
Yes.
are you feeling?
It was I was on top of the world. I had just fulfilled a dream that I'd had since I was young. I was going to get to wear the maple leaf on my chest. And then that's when the real hard work happened. That's when the real hard work
Oh,
began. Okay, I'm here now, and now I can open my eyes. Talk about being in a situation where you feel super excited and like you're at the top of your game and realizing there's so much more to learn.
yeah, yeah, that's great. Okay, so let me do. I just had a massive like lightning bolt. So this is great, and obviously I couldn't do the Olympics in anything other than like maybe eating tacos. Um, but this is what it makes me think of. You know, in high school, I did decent in high school, like just overall, right? You know, I was your average athlete, I was your average student, and whatever, right? And then I, applied to West Point. Right? Like, hey, I got into West Point, which is a miracle all by itself, right? If you don't believe in God, me, Noble, getting into West Point is like, there is a God in heaven, I'm telling you. And so I get in, and all of a sudden, they give stats on who gets accepted, like what kind of high school kids get into West Point. It's like 93% are sports captains, 95% are valedictorians, 87% are salutatorian, right? Like everybody is an animal. Right? It's like, in high school, I'm like, oh, I'm doing pretty decent, here in this little group of little high school kids. And go to West Point, I was like on the bottom of the barrel. Like, what am I? How they must have spelled the wrong dude's name and somehow came up with my name. Anyway,
Amazing.
to your point, right? Like, I can only imagine, you being a stud in D3, and then hey, you get it here, welcome to the club, and then you really look around like, oh crap, everybody is a stud on the
Yes.
Olympic team. Everybody is a
Yes.
tier. Like, is that kind of what you're talking about?
Absolutely. And just so much more depth to the game, details of the game, approaches and strategies. Mind blown with all the things that I've learned throughout my career.
Wow. Well, I again can only imagine. Okay, so now let me ask you this. This is an area that I've been talking to a lot of executives about. So obviously the space I'm in is emotional intelligent leadership space. And I am hardcore passionate about people and therefore culture in organizations. So goes the culture, so goes the organization, in my opinion. Because culture eats vision for breakfast.
Yes, 100%.
Don't care what your vision is. If you are not prepared to do a number of different, very, very intentional and specific things to implement your vision, it will be a 10-second commercial on a YouTube channel, right? Like it won't have any effect on the organization. What can you describe? What was the culture like at the echelons above reality team, like the Olympics, where everybody is a tier one athlete? What you've got, not one superstar on the team, you have everyone's the superstar on the team. So like, what was that culture like?
When I first joined the team, the culture was terrible. It was awful, cutthroat, no team chemistry. Just it was a nightmare to dive into. We did so much intentional work over the 12 years I was a part of the program. We had different experts come in to at different phases of our team evolution, talking about values and the vision for our program and buy into our larger mission. Mental performance coaches that helped both on the individual and the team level. By the time we got to the Olympics, I've never been a part of a team or organization that was all moving to the same heartbeat, in sync to a level you can't even imagine, to the point where it didn't matter. There were no fans in the stands. This was during the pandemic. There was no energy coming from anywhere else. We were it, the 15 of us on this team, Everybody bought into their role. Everybody was bought into our gold medal mission. That was our team hashtag for the Olympic cycle. When we separated when the pandemic first hit, we had a 10-day break that was happening just in time with the pandemic hitting. We were saying to each other, see you in 10 days. We didn't understand what this was. We didn't see each other for 10 months. When we came back together, it is mind-blowing how much better every single one of us was. We took the today plus today plus today mentality to a next level. We bought into our gold medal mission. We woke up every morning, what can I do to help myself and our team achieve that goal? Despite the doubt that was being thrown at us, despite all the articles saying the Olympics were going to be canceled altogether, that delay, I would never wish a pandemic on the world. That delay was a gift to our team. I can't even begin to describe the feeling when we walked into training camp in 2021, looked around and saw how much better every single person had gotten in 10 months apart. It was incredible. And it was because we had spent so much time and been so diligent about our culture, about our expectations, about what it looked like to be a part of this program, about each other, investing in one another, getting to know one another, and buying into all of those things.
Okay, okay, that's awesome. That is absolutely super dig it like a shovel. And that is easy to like spit out. How on earth did that happen though? Like you said, hey, when I showed up, it was a train wreck. And then the next sentence was, oh my gosh, and we're ready to take over the world, right? Like that does not happen by like, so what were some of those things like, and you also said like when I showed up, it was everyone about themselves and cutthroat, but then all of a sudden everyone is working on improving themselves so that the team gets better, right? It's like that. So, okay, you brought in some experts and stuff, and I like the gold medal mission. So what were some other things that contributed? How did you turn that ship around from a culture standpoint?
A lot of it was about intentional conversation. Sitting in a room together, brainstorming what we wanted our team to look like, sharing values that we thought we could buy into and why, how that could play out as a team. And that evolved over time. The first time we sat down as a group and said, this is what our team looks like, is not how we ended. Our team, our Olympic team, we talked about love all the time. That word was a value that we embodied as a group. People who watched us on TV during the Olympics, they said, we can feel the love through the television. We can see how much you all love each other. And it is so incredible to feel that, to be a part of that. 100% it came from being intentional about conversations, spending time on culture, deciding what that looked like, how that played out in our everyday lives, and developing our ability to hold ourselves and others accountable to that standard, talking about it every day, seeing it in action every single day, making it what we were about.
Okay, love it. That's great. That's money. I've got an idea, and I want to see. I've got a hypothesis, but I want to see if my hypothesis is right. How, at that level, that elite level of performance, how much of what you all created as a team was due to the coaching staff versus just due to having bad to the bone players?
I think there was a perfect balance there. Our head coach did an amazing job of bringing in the right people at the right moments, bringing in a new culture expert to drop some nuggets that we could grab onto, bringing in a new assistant coach who was the perfect piece to the culture that we needed. I think he did a really good job of bringing the people around us that we needed to continue to develop. I also think we had an amazing group of veteran players that dictated exactly how that culture would play out.
So if you had to throw a number, and I know there's no way to do that, but just from your perspective, like, do you think it was even like 50% was due, 50% of our incredible culture was due to the coaches, 50% was due to the veteran players? Would it be an even 50-50? Would it be 60-40, 80-20? Like, what do you think?
That's a really tough question. And I might be biased because I was an athlete within that program. There's so much that goes on when the coaches aren't around. There is so much impact in those moments. We're living together, we're eating together, we're going on adventures together when we're not at practice. There's a very small amount of time that we are being overseen by the coaches. That's why I would say that the players have more of an impact. Maybe it's a 75-25. Without that 25 from the coaches or the head coach, everything falls apart. If
Oh,
there's
sure.
not that leader creating an expectation, there's no expectation. The
Sure.
75 is everyone being held to that standard when the coaches aren't looking.
Yeah, love it. Excellent. What were the coaches' superpowers on the team? What did they bring to the table? So you said setting expectations was one thing. The second thing you said was bringing the right people on the team. Uh, the third thing you said was bringing the right SMEs at the right time to inject. Okay, we need a little culture here. We need a little teamwork here. We need a little whatever leadership here, right? So those are I think three things. Was there anything like what else made your coaches so good? Was there anything else that you can think of?
We had a mental performance coach that made a huge impact. He joined us in our last couple of years during our Olympic journey. He had some awesome insight, would connect with athletes one-on-one, and was also there to give the head coach feedback and almost be that outside view. Because as we all know, leaders don't always know everything about themselves. I would say never know everything about themselves. And having that outside perspective is an incredible opportunity.
Mm.
I think that impacted the program a lot. It allowed us to have real conversations with someone on staff who wasn't dealing with playing time, which is a high emotion topic for every athlete. We all want to play. And having that perspective, that outside perspective, be able to have conversations and sometimes just need someone to say, why don't you go talk to so-and-so about that? Like, I see that's bothering you. How about you take that conversation now that you have your thoughts wrapped around the, in the right lane? Can you take that conversation to that person? And just, I think little things that he did throughout our journey that dictate a lot of our success or growth. And then we had one assistant coach who came on board later in the process, and she just has an incredible ability to be completely blunt in a loving way. We, as high performers, we're constantly getting feedback about things that we could do better, constantly getting feedback about that top 1% that we are chasing. And it can be extremely draining to always be hearing those things that you're not good enough, you're not doing that well enough. Can you do that better? And she just has this incredible way of almost making you feel like you're getting a hug while she's delivering any kind of feedback. And I think that that was a piece that propelled us, gave us new life, gave us new energy to feel like I am enough and I can keep getting better.
Mm. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. What do you think was the biggest, hmm, let's see. Okay, let me ask it this way. Describe the mindset of your team with that gold medal mindset. What describe that?
For us, that was a huge shift. Our team had never won a medal at the Olympics before. Canadian softball had never won an Olympics or won a medal at the Olympics. We set a goal that for many people might have seemed out of reach for us and dove in absolutely headfirst to it, buying into it. Throughout my 12 years, there had been a process and a very interesting journey for our mindset of what we expected of ourselves. 2015, we finally beat America in a gold medal game in a tournament that mattered. That was the Pan American Games in Toronto. That was the first year we saw how powerful belief was. We believed we could do it, and we did it. We realized that being in the gold medal game meant anyone could win it. We carried that belief forward. And as we developed our gold medal mission to be our rallying point, we described to ourselves, we discovered for ourselves, what does that look like on a daily basis? That means today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do something that's going to put me and the team in a position to win. And every single morning thinking that, what can I do today that is going to put me in that position to be better, to make our team better? We had so many intentional conversations, high stress situations, figuring out where do I go in that moment? What's my mindset when I've just failed time after time after time, when there's something super challenging in front of me? What do I need? What do I need for myself? What do I need for my teammates? And then sharing that with one another, getting on the same page. And that's ultimately what led to us being able to beat as one heartbeat.
Love that. Love that. How do you, what does individual and team energy and self-management look like when everybody is a top 1%, less than 1% high achiever, where it's like, because I've participated in some high achieving environments, and the mindset was rest when you're dead. Well, you can't, right? It's like there's never enough. There's always more. Tenths of a second faster, or tenths of a second stronger, or I mean tenths of a whatever, but a few pounds stronger, whatever, right? Whatever but it's always more. How do you, like, that's a tough, that's got to be a very, very tough environment. How do you manage energy in an individual and a team when everybody always wants more?
I honestly think that's another gift the pandemic gave to us. The forced downtime, the slowdown in our jobs. Most of us had jobs outside of training. The slowdown in our ability to be together, in travel, in all of those things. We were given little intentional things to work on that our support staff, our athletic trainer and our strength coach presented it in a way of, all right, the world's hit pause right now. These are some things that you personally can take a step back from, work on, and breathe through and improve these areas. We've never been given this time. So almost reframing that pandemic delay into, we've just been gifted more time to work on things we haven't taken time for, to dive into more self-discovery, to get uncomfortable in different ways. We started having meetings, weekly meetings with the team. We went through a visualization that was the Olympics. We went week by week. Each week was a game. In the order we were going to play the games at the Olympics, in our backyard or wherever we wanted to do it, went through a visualization of ourselves playing in that game. I went to the point of I would have my warm-up shirt on, I would change into my jersey, I would play our national anthem, get into the mindset of that game, picture myself, have my bat in my hands, actually swing and perform as though I was performing that game, go through my routine, my breath work, everything that I would be doing on game day. We literally picked apart everything that we could in order to figure out how we could make that gold medal mission happen. Fast forward to the Olympics, we lose 1-0 to the US. We lose 1-0 to Japan in extra innings. Those two games meant we were in the bronze game, not the gold medal game. We were one run away in 2 games. Our dreams were then crushed. We had a few hours to get over that before we were going to bed to wake up for our next game day. Another moment, we sat in the pain. We had a circle together, arm in arm, and talked about how tough that was. We knew it was going to be challenging to get past. For 4 or 5 years, we'd been chasing the gold medal mission, and that dream was now gone. We sat in that pain, talked about it, and said, we're going to dinner. After dinner, we are moving on. We are now focused on our next mission, which is winning tomorrow. That was probably the most challenging part of the journey with regard to buying in as a team to that mission, and the biggest road bump at the Olympics that we faced mentally.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay. Second to last question here. What advice would you share to a female senior executive based on you playing on an Olympic team and that level of performance? What might be some thoughts or encouragement or some insights that you could share to female executives?
One of the struggles that I faced personally was the comparison game. How I showed up was very different from, I'm 5'3". I have a teammate who's almost a foot taller than me. My game wasn't about hitting the ball over the fence and hitting home runs. It was about being super scrappy, competitive, making things happen, being the spark, creating chaos. And it wasn't until I actually leaned into my strengths and fully committed to being who I was that I could flourish. And it was incredible to see how differently I could show up, knowing that I am me and I am the best me, and I'm going to bring that. And that's what matters. I set a reminder in my phone to go off. It went off for 2 years, every single day leading up to the Olympics. And it said, I am the best at what I do. For females in the executive space, often there aren't many other females in the room. It's easy to compare yourself to what everybody else is doing, feel like your path isn't the right one, or how you're showing up in a certain space isn't quote unquote right. And I would just absolutely stomp on that thought and remember that you are the best at what you do. You're there for a reason. Lean into those strengths, and what a gift for yourself and for everybody around you.
Love that. And I love that analogy. For me, using jujitsu analogy, where I got a lot of real estate. I am not I'm 6'1", 250, gangster dad bod, right? And so I can't do the super fast, strong, young guy jujitsu moves. I physically I can't do the moves, right? So I love that point. Like, so me trying to play that game, I am going to fail exponentially more than just like, well, what's Noble's game based on being an old dude, old, slow guy, right? What's my game? How can I develop my game and be the best version of Noble's game and not compare myself to the 25-year-old Division I wrestler who comes in and, well, crap, I can't do what he does. I blink and I'm on the ground and he's got me wrapped up in a pretzel, right? So I love that. I love that. So play your game. Play
Yeah.
your game, and not just play it, but be the best at the game that love that. That's awesome. Okay, last question. How do we find you? How do we follow you? How do we connect with you? Share that for us.
My website is joey-lie.com, JOEY-LYE.com. I'm on socials, Joey Lie, except the L is a number 1. Easy peasy. Find me there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joey. Totally appreciate you. Super excited for you and your journey. Thank you for bringing the lessons at that elite level to civilians and women and men in the business world. I know you're going to continue to add tremendous value to everybody.
Thank you, Noble, for having me. You are always a delight.